look, I went down the rabbit hole, right? I clicked on another article that talks more about it,
Yeah.
right? And then I found this article, The Convict That Rocks the Cradle, Raising Kids in Canada's Prisons. And this person is having a child in prison. And
I didn't know that was allowed.
right, up to like 4 years old, and then I think they get put into,
Foster care.
yeah. I mean, that being said, it's like, I just listen. I'm a felon, okay? I can't own a gun anymore, and I support guns. Everybody should have the right to have one, but like I understand that my right to like have one has been like nerfed severely because I fucked up, right? And I just think
Sure.
this person killed somebody. This person who's having a baby killed multiple people. What gives her the right to like have a child or have any kind of a life after you kill somebody and take somebody else's life? Checks. This is this is. Oh man,
He just killed someone a little bit. Just a
I
little bit.
I mean, that's a long story, bro, and maybe we'll get to know each other a little bit better, and I'll let you know. That way you don't think I'm that big of a jerk. But
yeah, no, I agree, man. Like, it seems weird. Like, not just this, but there's a lot of situations coming down the pipeline with prison populations in general, not just marriage and raising kids and stuff like that, but with like transgenders as well. Like if you're trans, you get all sorts of like surgeries and perks and stuff like that. I can't think of any details, but I see a lot of stories like that come up as well. And a part of it is like, dude, at what point are we saying these things are human rights and now we're getting more onto the side of their privileges? You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, well, okay, so like this scenario.
So I want to know more
Yep.
about this lady raising babies in prison that you're talking about specifically. Like, was she pregnant when she was incarcerated?
No.
Did she get pregnant?
She got pregnant in prison. So she had a conjugal visit from her boyfriend, who's a parolee, and they must have banged. And
Okay. That's what those are for.
and then she became pregnant. And now she has an 8-month-old kid.
I mean, it's not where I'd want to raise a kid.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Chuck,
for
for
sure.
stopping by.
Yeah, thanks, Jax. For sure. It seems like, like any sort of foster care situation would be better than this. This is crazy.
Right. It also reminds me of Batman, but that's, I guess, another story.
Is she holding pain?
Well,
Is that what you mean?
I don't know, dude. Like, so think about it. If you're out in the real world, you gotta work. You gotta like find out how to get health care for yourself.
Right. That's
You gotta deal
another
with
thing that
food stamps
pisses
and
me
all
off.
of that stuff. But
Is that I'd be
if you're
paying
in
for this
prison
person.
and you have a baby,
Yeah.
like if you're in prison and you have a baby, like we don't even have we don't get time off for childcare here.
Right.
But
Right.
Seems like a pretty cush situation.
It seems like a
to
really
have a
cush
baby.
situation. It's too much of a cush situation. That's why I think I'm upset with it. Because
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. For sure, there's no doubt. I think I see the point that you're making, that you have more time to tend to the child. And I think you're right about that. But you're still in a prison where people get raped and stabbed and do drugs. And, what I mean?
Oh, wait. Let's
That's a good follow-up there.
Maybe that's an extreme version, I've never been to prison, but it's a rough sort of place.
It's unpleasant on purpose, yeah.
I bet.
For sure.
Well, guys, you're paying for somebody's food every day, and am bored every day for somebody who probably took a couple people's lives away.
Yeah.
And you know, look, this
How many
lady,
of
this
those
this
people
case,
did
this
that?
case,
Like,
this case in particular, I'll leave it with this. This case in particular, like, the baby didn't do anything. So I personally think that the baby should be as close to their mother as possible. And that's just the situation that they are in right now. But do I think that do I think that you know, people should be having babies in prison? Probably, like, not. Should we be
Yeah,
Should we be supporting that?
I feel like conjugal in and of itself is kind of a weird thing.
I feel like we shouldn't really be supporting prisons like we do, you know, and they don't reform people. It's so, like, if we ever want a person to come back into society, it's a bad place to send them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, I wonder, in the case of, like, this person has done something so heinous, I don't want my tax dollars to go to supporting them at all. Like,
Right.
expand death penalty. Like, what are you actually saying? Like, I think at a certain point we got to just be like, shit, dude, we're all in the same boat. We're people.
What does chat think? I haven't seen anything from chat recently, so.
Yeah.
Okay, on to something kind of lighter. I just read this. Season 4 for Apex is going down, and I'm being blocked right now for whatever fuck reason. The character's name is Forge, and he seems like he's gonna be the type of person that you drop into the map and immediately get weapons because your melee is so OP. I know that some people here play Apex. I play Apex. But I thought I'd give a quick update. I'm not sure if any of you guys play Apex. I know you probably don't, Fluff, but Lux, did you ever get around to playing it?
I've played a couple of rounds, not seriously. I'm just not super into the whole God, what's the genre? I'm blanking on it.
Battle Royale.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm not super into the whole battle royale thing. Apex was cooler to me, but yeah, no, I never really got that into it.
Same NC, I prefer Siege as well. But, you know, Apex has done a really good job of the battle royale genre, in my opinion. It's probably the only one I can stand. So I played PUBG, I played Fortnite, and it just, you know, they never really held the test of time, and Siege and Apex have for me.
What I liked about Apex, like, I'm like super noob level for these kinds of games, and that's kind of what keeps me away from them, is I just can't hang. And so Apex was kind of more approachable because you're dropped in with the team. But also, like, if you get dropped in with the wrong guys, it kind of sucks. You know what I mean? Like,
totally. It sucks in general when your team sucks. Balls. All right, I'm just gonna give an update on this. Peter Schiff, we were talking about him on Tuesday. He says, my Bitcoin mystery is solved. I mistook my PIN for my password. The background on this is that Peter Schiff is a Euro-Pacific, the CEO of Euro-Pacific Capital. He handles other people's money, and he basically has been talking shit about Bitcoin forever. And he posted this post where he lost his password and is now locked out of his Bitcoin forever. And he's trying to make it sound like this is why Bitcoin sucks. And what has transpired is that he actually mistook his PIN for his password, and he's saying that this is why it's bad for Bitcoin. But the thing, my problem with it is that, Pete, pins and passwords have been around in traditional banking for quite a while now. How do you get them confused? But he just keeps going, man. He just keeps digging himself a bigger grave, and people are calling him a boomer, of course. But I figure
it sounds like we got my grandma a new iPad for Christmas, and she had to re-sign into all her accounts, and it feels like that.
Yeah. Okay, boomer. Yeah, man. One of these days, somebody's gonna say "Okay, boomer" to me for sure. One of these days.
No.
Yes. All right. We got a Bernie Warren beef manufactured by the media. You want me to click on one of these articles, the CNN
Yeah, go for it.
article?
Pull it up. I thought this was kind of interesting. It feels like
Fuck you, Lux.
With applause still ringing.
Fuck you.
You got it.
Yeah.
Okay, boomer. Yeah, so this was crazy, man. Like, I don't know how much you guys follow politics, but so basically, literally the day before, so CNN hosted the last debates, Democratic primary debates, and they the day before, CNN released this article, some news saying that supposedly 10 years ago or some shit, Bernie Sanders was in a private closed-door meeting with Elizabeth Warren, and he said to her that he thinks a woman could never be president.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was it seemed like a bunch of bullshit because no one was there to prove it, and the only sources of evidence were someone who told her a story about it a week later. And it's what the fuck? How is this even news? And so they kind of trumped up this story, and he denies it, of course. And then they go to the debate, and what you just saw is them talking to each other after the debate. But during the debate, they asked Bernie, so this happened, and what do you have to say about it? He denies that it happened, and then they immediately turn to Elizabeth Warren after he denies it. He flat out denies it. He says, "No, this never happened. I didn't say that. I don't know what she's talking about. Maybe she misunderstood what I said. But I've been saying women should be president for over 30 years. There's videos of me all over YouTube, da-da-da-da." Then they turn to Elizabeth Warren right after that and go, "So, when Bernie said a woman can't be president, how did that make you feel?" It's bitch, he just said that. You know what I mean? They immediately just assumed that it doesn't matter what Bernie says. They assumed
Right.
that this was a fact.
That,
And they've been pushing this narrative fucking hard, dude. So hard. It was just so scummy the way that they did it. It felt very reminiscent of all of the DNC collusion and shit that happened in 2016 with Hillary and the DNC. It felt very much like this. So it seems pretty clear that they're pushing, the DNC and left-wing media is pushing Elizabeth Warren.
Well, I just really don't understand why we put these, we have these networks that are shaping the narrative through their questions, right? They purposely, in every debate I've seen, try to pin one candidate against another, and I'm so baffled as to why these are the subject matter experts on how to question these candidates for the American people.
Seriously, yeah. I think that brings up a really good point. Just in general, these debates are kind of a fucking joke. How do you...
But they have such a huge impact on what people think.
Right, exactly. I love the fact that Bernie, I don't know if you guys saw it, Bernie went on the Rogan podcast a couple months ago now, I think. Andrew Yang's been on the Rogan podcast.
Yep.
And Tulsi Gabbard as well. And it's that is such a better venue for these guys to air their opinions and shit, instead of this dumbass fucking I don't even know what the fuck this is anymore.
That brings it
fuck?
to a good point, right? Like, well, so two things. One thing is this scene right here. If you see, there's a clip of Bernie and Warren, and one of them, I forget who. I think it's
You're probably getting demonetized right now.
what? Oh, for sure.
I don't know how much to show this clip, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It really doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm not making money off of it anyways. But Warren, I guess there's a clip of Warren and Bernie, and it's this thing right here, and they kind of confront each other. The mics are off, and one of them, I think it was Bernie, reached out for a handshake, and I think she just kind of walked away. Like there was some weird body language going on afterwards, and I don't know what that's about.
The mics were hot. The mics were hot.
Oh, they were hot.
They left them hot on purpose. So that's what people are saying. I mean, some people are saying it was a mistake, but it seems pretty obvious they left the mics hot on purpose. And she walks up to Bernie. Bernie tries to shake her hand. She refuses, and she says, "I think you called me a liar on national television." He says, "What?" She says, "You called me a liar on national television." You can see the quote on the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
and he says something like, "Let's not do this right now. Let's not do this." And she keeps pushing it and goes, "We can have this conversation, but not right now." And he just walks off.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that was a really weird position to put either of them into. What was I gonna say? Fluff, were you gonna say something?
It's such a weird controversy, man. Like, so I feel like even if Bernie said 10 years ago or whatever that a woman couldn't be president, it's not really even a comment on whether or not like a woman is qualified. It's a comment on voters.
Oh, and that time period and that period of time, right?
Well, I mean, even like we've got a sexist electorate, right? Like, there are a lot of people out there who feel like a woman, like voters, right, who feel like a woman shouldn't be president. And you can make a comment on that. Like, I think a woman should. I like Warren actually a lot, but
oh, you broke my heart.
me? I like Warren and Bernie, but I just anybody but Biden, please.
That's how I feel. That's how I fucking feel, dude. Here, I'm gonna switch topics right now over to this. I thought this was very interesting for you, Lux. 36% of U.S. SMEs, small to medium businesses, now accept cryptocurrency payments. I did not even know that. It's an interesting stat. It shows that adoption has been happening. I don't think it's strictly for Bitcoin. It's probably other cryptocurrencies along the side that run a bit faster than Bitcoin for sure. But it's an interesting stat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Newegg has been, NC, you're right, Newegg has been accepting BTC. Amazon does too, and like most places will accept it, if you can use BitPay. In addition to this, you can also get a card. I think it's at crypto.com. So this card, basically you put all your cryptocurrency onto it, and they will, these cards, they're Visa cards, and you can use them just like cash, except your assets are all in crypto. And they I think they like instantly sell them and transfer the cash over to the vendor.
That's cool.
Which is kind of cool. And a lot of these services are popping up left and right. So it's definitely something to watch out for.
Yeah, I think that's like kind of one of the missing links.
Totally. I mean, ideally, we could be using... So I've toyed with the idea of using crypto exclusively, right? Like converting all my money into crypto and just running... How can I buy hentai with my Bitcoin? Listen, man, Oh, you're saying you can. Yeah, Yeah, you totally can. There's a lot of things you can buy with crypto. You'd be surprised. Even all the way back to 2012, you can buy computer parts with crypto. So I've toyed with the idea of just going full-blown crypto, full-blown privacy coins, because when I think about it, it's the path to freedom. If I get paid in crypto and I only pay in crypto, nobody taxes me. If I use something like Monero, I basically am tax-free, which is kind of nice. And also nobody can really track what I do or where I go, which is kind of nice. Well, if you keep all of your assets in crypto, then that is if you trade. So if you don't trade, then there's no taxable event. And that's what I'm saying is, like, I've been toying with the idea of just like converting all my money into crypto and trying to live off of that. Although my girlfriend would probably kill me, so that's probably not going to happen. IBM will let you check things now for authenticity on their blockchain, which is very, very cool. So they have this example of this olive oil, and they're trying to determine whether or not it's fake. And IBM is now, people are now using the blockchain to like verify physical items. There was a lot. Yeah.
This I see now. We're talking. Like,
Right.
This has been a reoccurring thing for me. I'm always challenging the value proposition of blockchain, and you showed me two things. One, now the currency is real. You can start buying shit with it. Two, this is a real value add, dude, for sure. You could see this being a major player in things like wine and like whiskey and stuff like that. That's massive. If you could make the logistics work. I don't understand it, but if you could, that's huge.
Yeah, I recently interviewed for a voting platform, and blockchain is also a really good candidate for that as well, because we still have to use paper, and apparently that's a regulation that we still have to use paper. That's not.
I don't think that's true.
I spoke with so the place I interviewed was called what was it called? I don't remember what it was called, but they are basically a ID verification service. And hey, Mr. I am David Dams. David Dams. They're basically an ID verification service. So when you go to vote, you verify your ID on this like kiosk, and that's what they provide. And I asked them why they don't go into like the voting process a little bit, and I kind of asked them like, what's the deal with everything having to be in paper? To which they responded, it's a regulation.
I think that's like at a state level.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I know. You're probably right. It's on a state level.
I think it's a great thing.
Paper?
Yeah, paper ballots.
Oh, why?
I think it's just
secure.
like physical and independently verifiable.
Yeah.
If you want to vote on blockchain, great, but also have a paper backup.
That paper backup makes little sense to me, because it's susceptible to getting lost, or for having fakes and miscounts, right? With the whole point of blockchain is you can't alter it once it's in there, and you can have truly unique items, which is why you can do something like this, where you have where you can verify the authenticity of an item because of blockchain. And
yeah, I think if you have a value prop like blockchain, I think it makes sense for something like voting. But right now we don't have that, and I don't know that I understand enough about blockchain to be 100% confident in it. But if it
Right.
is, if it works exactly the way they say it does, then great. But I agree with Fluff. Like paper is tried and true, man. Like I was watching this guy Mike Baker, who's an ex-CIA agent. He's like, dude, we have to go back to paper because there's no stopping Russia and China from trying to manipulate elections. It's just not going to happen. And if we have things in digital, they're going to hack it 100%. So the best option is paper under that sort of circumstance.
I think, I mean, if you were going to have voting for, on the blockchain, you'd have to have a two-part, right? You'd have to have everybody verified in the United States digitally on the blockchain, and then you would have to have, the voting system aside from that. So like each person gets one vote, and you'd have to make it immutable on the blockchain, and then you can't hack it.
Yeah.
I feel like that would also be a logistical nightmare for poor people.
To get to a computer or to get to
Yeah, like to get to a computer, to get registered, or like poor districts, right?
There's a lot of challenges to it, but I'm confident we can make an easier workflow for sure. Like
Yeah.
you can hold like areas like voting places where there are like iPads and things like that. California, huh? A West Coast transplant poor in a small Idaho town has a big dilemma. I read your synopsis a little bit about this, Lux, but
You like my note?
yeah, I think should we nuke California? I mean,
I just think it's just I keep seeing this and I keep hearing about it. Like everyone you talk to from out of state. I was just in Denver a couple of weeks ago for work, and like everyone I talked to is like, "Oh man, things have changed so much in the last couple of years." So many people from California are moving here. Like, there's just so many people are leaving California. It's just, I mean, it's like structurally changing other states. Like it's insane.
yeah,
And still, California population doesn't drop because there's so many people coming in at the same
right.
time.
Right. I mean, that's similar to what's happened sort of in New York, right?
Yeah.
New Jersey, especially on the border of Jersey and New York, there, it's booming. They got bigger buildings, and certain people. So I am David Ames says certain people should be restricted to vote if they didn't know tech, regardless of its availability. Some people are so inept. Thanks, man. Forget about the stream delay. But yeah, it's an interesting phenomenon because I know that Fluff went from California to another state, partially because of that, right? Just money requirements. And
it was expensive to live in California for sure. Also, having family in another state that's like, we're gonna help you and give you money and stuff, like that's really
yeah.
I looked around and I saw the people who were like thriving in California were living with their parents,
right?
Yeah.
Like,
But
I didn't have any kind of support like that in California.
Why Boise though? What's in Boise?
Right?
Yeah.
I like they used to have like treatment programs out there, like wilderness treatment programs. I almost went to Boise. I went to Utah, and I almost went to Boise.
You lucked out.
I mean,
You made the right choice.
I don't know about that. I hear California should be its own country. Yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
I miss California. I was out there like in October, and it was wonderful.
Look, man, this is interesting. So these guys have developed an invisibility cloak. It's basically a sheet of plastic that reflects light to where you can't see anything behind it. and it blends it in such a way that when you're far away, like watch this guy kind of disappear the further he gets back. It blows my mind because you think an invisibility cloak is supposed to be some high piece of tech, but it's really just a piece of plastic with angles.
Yeah.
But this unlocks all sorts of different things. I would love to scare the shit out of my girlfriend coming home with one of these sheets. And then this also kind of changes magic tricks for people, for magicians.
For sure.
I also think that Rainbow Six Siege can make a really cool operator with this. I hope they take my suggestion. What are you gonna say?
Really cool. Me?
Lux.
Oh, I don't know. I was just probably myself.
Oh, okay. What were you gonna say, Mr. Fluff?
I've seen this thing, but it is super cool. So the like thought question of, if you could have a superpower, would you be invisible or would you fly? And like, flying is kind of the most ethical superpower, whereas invisibility, like, that's for the creeps. That's for the villains, man.
That said, I would definitely take invisibility over flying.
Yeah.
Because then I can just hijack a plane or something like that and like go flying someplace and get away with it with impunity. Fancy meals and loans for friends. China's banks face costly cleanup. What is going on here? What is this?
Oh, dude, I read this and it freaked me out a little bit. I mean, apparently China's financial market has been doing some shady shit, and sorry.
Yeah, you just read the comment. What's wrong with jerking off in public with no one knowing? Absolutely nothing, witch miss. Absolutely nothing. I have no.
Well said, very well said.
No. Oh man, I wish I could reward you digitally somehow.
Yeah, so apparently China's financial markets are like all kinds of fucked up. At least that's what this article is saying. And they've been really fast and loose in their debt markets, and they're really starting to have to tighten up. So it just makes me wonder which, how much of their market is just bullshit. You know what I mean? And like how much exposure does the rest of the world have to this? I mean, China is the second largest economy in the world behind the U.S.
Right.
And they're pretty fucking close, actually. I think they have like 15 trillion GDP. And if their debt market is bullshit and it collapses, or part of it is just automatically is like dropped because it's built on bullshit, then this could be what sparks the next recession.
Yeah, I mean, but aren't all debt markets kind of bullshit anyways? I mean, we're just repackaging in bonds. And repackaging.
I don't know.
I mean, China's at risk. I'll tell you what, China's at risk right now because they're on a holiday. They just had a outbreak with the coronavirus. And they signed a trade deal with the U.S. that's part of Phase 1 that really doesn't remove any of the tariffs that were put in place in the first place that we've seen have already slowed down their economy a bit. Nice, Jake. You masturbate in the shower? That's inappropriate. That's very inappropriate. I think we were talking about masturbation a little too much. Fuck.
You have to get your invisibility cloak first.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's just China. Like, it feels like such a different animal because things are so different there, you know, like the way the government is structured, the way things are run. It's
Excuse
gotten
me.
so massive and influential. It's kind of like, I don't know. When I read stuff like this, I'm always like, uh-oh, here we go. You
I know, yeah, but the fact of the matter is that they're very, very strong. They've managed to convert their country into, like, in the 80s where they were like a bottom barrel, like, communist manufacturing company, to like where everything was made in China, to like to an innovative country where they're starting to like do all sorts of stuff, you know. Their
For
their
sure.
products
Their-
are
their-
competitive now.
Their turnaround is just insane. You're absolutely right. But it seems too good to be true. And I think we're starting to see the cracks, and I think this is a part of that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move on to something lighter here. We've got it's Akira's 30th anniversary. Have you guys seen that? I'm a big anime fan. I know that probably Fluff has seen Akira.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have the DVD. It used to be my like go-to coming down movie.
A coming
put it
down
on.
movie?
Yeah, when you're like, oh man, you know, night after shrooms, or
Dude,
when you like.
are you
finally
serious?
need
That's
to
a
sleep.
really intense movie for a come down movie, dude. I'd be watching
Dude, when I'm
like
getting fucked up, I'm a really intense person, aren't I? mean,
yeah.
sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I don't. I remember one time, Lux and I got we took some acid and we were drinking and I think we took a sprinkle of E, and we got home and we just really wanted to watch a movie or something, and I remember Lux getting so pissed that he ripped the DVD player out of the wall and threw it across the room and was yelling that nothing works around here.
DVD player would work, man. I remember driving home. We were like at a party in the city, and we had to drive home. It was a 45-minute drive, and it was you, me, and one other dude, and sleep in the car. You both were. I was driving, and still high off my ass, and there's some guy driving the wrong way on my side of the. And I got freaked out. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. There's no.
Oh yes, I remember that. I was so scared. I
I had
was,
to wake you up, dude, and be like, "Am I on the right side of the freeway? What's going on?" Like,
you know what? And I couldn't really tell if you were on the right side of the freeway, but that guy zoomed right past us.
yeah.
Anyways, I just thought it was an opportunity to kind of look at like cyberpunk style movies like Blade Runner, RoboCop. I was always a huge fan of these, and kind of wish that like it was still like a thing. Like we don't really see them too often anymore.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, no, I don't know, dude. Like, I kind of disagree. I think that the genre is still alive and strong. I think it's mellowed out a little bit, but it's just changed. And I think it's died down maybe in like recent years. But like, you know, last time we talked about cyberpunk, you know, I mentioned Altered Carbon that came out. I think,
Right,
a year
that
or
was
two
good.
ago.
That was not bad.
It's got a second season coming out soon too. That was good.
Yeah, that was great. And The Matrix is going to come out with another movie.
Yeah, I wonder who's gonna be in it. Do we know? Do we know yet?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's been confirmed, but it's definitely what's his name, Keanu Reeves. I think it's him. I think it's him and the chick who played. It's the same two. The chick who played what the fuck was her name? His girlfriend.
Wait. This just came across in your list of topics here. How to enjoy pooping at work.
Oh yeah.
Please help me with this, because I am the type of person who like will poo and shit in the morning before I have to do anything. And if I don't get to do that early in the morning, then my day is fucked.
Oh man,
I'm in the same boat. Yeah.
I hate shitting at work, dude.
So
Yeah.
I mean, you read this article. What is the okay, tip number 1, private bathrooms are key. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a good thing.
Sure.
Forget the magazine. What's wrong with the magazine? Walking to the bathroom with a magazine screams, I'm about to poop. Oh. Well, I guess I could just bring my phone. I usually just read stuff on my phone.
That's what I do, yeah.
Tip number 3, it's all about timing. Be strategic about when you choose to go to the bathroom. Find a time to enjoy the go when everyone seems to be busy doing other things. You smart. You go to school, make lots of money. I understand. Tip number 4, bring some extra support. You're saying bring like wipes and shit? I can't do that. So you're saying don't bring magazines, but bring wipes. I don't know what's more fucking obvious that you're about to shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Time your flushes. The good news about pooping at work is that, you know what? Okay, listen. The reason I don't poop at work has nothing to do with whether or not other people know that I'm pooping at work. I don't give a shit that other people, literally. I could give less fucks that somebody knows that I'm taking a shit. Or if I farted in public, I'm totally fine with acknowledging that I farted. I just don't feel like it's clean, I don't want to put my booty on this thing. I'm frankly afraid that either like I'm going to dip into the toilet bowl water or like something's going to hop up from the toilet bowl water and touch my butthole.
I don't know, man. For me, it's just so awkward taking a shit at work.
Yeah.
Like other people know.
I have a squatty potty at home, and you'll never go back, dude. Get a squatty potty.
What's the
You'll
fuck
never-
is a
Everybody
squatty?
says. Oh my god.
The fuck is a squatty potty? Oh, you
have to Google squatty potty right now.
It's that stand that you put on your toilet seat.
Yeah.
Squatty potty. I don't know.
So it just adds an extra layer to hating pooping at work, because I know I could be enjoying this poop so much.
Oh, I thought it was a little bit different, but
Yeah.
I thought it goes on the toilet seat bowl. But I guess this is kind of like a stand. I get that. It like contours your body for proper pooping, like squatting and stuff. And like, well, hey, listen, like, subscribe to uploadTwashe and you'll get 15% off of this squatty potty on Amazon. Highly recommended. That'll be the next video here. This is what's up. Number 3, where you got like this like nice angle here. All right.
How many squats can you do?
Oh my goodness. All right.
Yeah.
This
That's what I'm about.
So I was reading this article, and I feel like it's kind of out there. Are birds using quantum entanglement to navigate? So this article basically talks about the possibility that birds might be sensing the magnetic field of the planet Earth when they go north for the winter or whatever, migrate, based on their like migration paths. And so they have it talks or feeling within them, and they just kind of like follow it. It's just a very interesting concept to me to know that. But that's another thing, I guess.
I didn't know you were obsessed with magnetic fields.
Dude, I think they fucking unlock the secrets of the universe, or the secrets of unlimited energy and flying vehicles are all in the Earth's gravity and magnetic fields.
I love the magnetic fields too. Have you ever heard their song Andrew and Drag?
Oh my goodness. Whew. All
Have
right.
you seen this stuff called ferrofluid?
Yes, that stuff is amazing, dude.
Yes.
And like the fact that you could transfer energy through magnetic fields in inductive coiling is amazing. You know, uh, it all that stuff is absolutely amazing. And if we can find some way to harness the Earth's magnetic field, we'd certainly have cars that can fly with without pooping out matter through one end.
So you mean less about navigation and more about power?
More about
More about
power.
speed.
I mean, even in space travel, man, if we can figure out a way to like leverage magnetic fields to like propel us through space.
Are there magnetic fields in space?
Oh yeah, they're all over the place.
I didn't know that.
I mean, each planet has one pretty much.
Yeah, but there's a lot more space than there are planets.
True. Well, if you can use them like a slingshot or a rubber band, then you might have a way to deal with that. I usually try to do one a day. I try to do one a day. I try to do one a day.
Just one.
Yeah.
Just one squat a day. At least one a day.
Right. Ooh. Let's talk about this. Trans athletes.
Yeah.
404.
Ooh.
It's too much of a big think. It's too big. It's too big.
I wonder if the article got pulled. How interesting.
Oof.
I saw that literally today.
Oh, wow. What was it about?
Oh, that's weird. Are you sure? You should try clicking that again because it's working on my end.
Huh.
Throw it in the Discord if you want.
No, I got the... Oh, it works now. Biological male who broke a woman's skull named bravest athlete in history.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys have heard about this chick, but she's an MMA fighter and a trans woman, meaning she was born a man, transitioned to a female. So she reached adulthood as a man and, obviously has a fairly masculine body despite transitioning. And, she's been fighting women. And, she broke this one woman's skull, literally broke her skull. And I guess this article is about she got named bravest athlete by some publication or some shit. But I just think it brings up this concept of the transgender issues are kind of a sticky situation, especially around combat sports like this, and the other one I think is power sports. And certain physical sports running and shit like that. You just see when trans women, people that are born men, enter into these female sports, they just dominate. It's not even fucking close.
Huh.
And should this shit be allowed? And especially in a combat sport. It's this chick is damn near killing these other girls.
Something interesting happened in the gaming esports space. I know we talked about that a little bit briefly, but don't most take estrogen shots.
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
So
from what I understand, some leagues in certain sports and stuff like that have certain rules. You can't I couldn't be oh, I'm a woman today and then start competing in sports. You have to be on certain hormone blockers or something like that for up to a year or whatever. But everybody's body is a little bit different, you know what I mean? And so if you look at something like this woman probably has a lot of testosterone flowing through her body, despite the fact that she's taking estrogen shots. If a natural female, a biological female, had that level of testosterone in her blood, they might accuse her of doping. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So something interesting also happened in the esports realm as well. That confused me a bit, right? So a transgendered woman used to be a man, is now a woman. She entered
What's up,
esports, and she's known to being the single female to ever, I guess, win at League of Legends. Let me see if I could look her up. These are very different sports, right? So one, and she actually ended up, she like died, I think, from like an OD or something like that. It's just a really. These are two very different sports. One's highly physical, and the other one is more strategic, right? It's. I just find it a little bit weird to kind of lump people into these sports, I guess. You know, to like make a transition either way.
I feel like in esports, like because like people aren't touching each other. It's really like a mental.
Right. But if you were a woman, yeah.
It just doesn't seem like gender matters. And then in like a combat sport, like gender is a social construct, right? And so like trans people are socially they're, you know, the sex that they or the gender that they identify as, but like sex is not a social construct. Right. And so I don't like that's a touchy area, man.
Yeah, it totally is. I just feel like you know, you got this person who you know is the woman to compete professionally in League of Legends. If I were a woman, I might feel a kind of way, I think, because you know, this person has like taken the top seat of this. Hello.
Was that her?
What? Oh, yeah. I don't know. We got time for maybe one article. I don't even know what this is. I'm just opening it here. I wanted to talk a little bit about dark money, but I think that's a larger conversation. Destiny has a historian, and his full-time job is making lore videos.
Yeah, dude, I thought this was so fucking cool. I'm a massive Destiny fan. I don't play anymore, just because it's gotten so crazy and it's hard to keep up with. But like one of my favorite games of all time, and really what got me into like watching YouTube and just you know, this kind of content more. You know, individual contributor content was Destiny, and this guy, my name is Bife, has been around for I don't know how many fucking years, making content on YouTube about Destiny, and it went mainstream. Like, this is the first time I've ever seen an article like about this little corner of YouTube.
Interesting, man.
That Destiny always looked like a cool game. I wish I played games, but I'm just like, I play Golf Battle on my phone all the time.
I've been downloading like dumb games recently on my phone just to like have them, you know, just like stupid farming games and shit. And then I realized, what the fuck am I doing? This is a goddamn farming game.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, I keep downloading stupid shit on my phone and then having to delete it when I realize like I could have been doing homework.
I really need to play Destiny. I've never done it. Ever.
It's tough to get into, man. Like, it's so big. Honestly, it's not the kind of game you can just be like, oh, you have to commit. Like, it's kind of like a first-person shooter MMO.
Oh, okay.
And so you really have to like build your character, and you got to commit, and you got to be in there playing like almost on a daily basis, or at least a few times a week. and like you got to be maintaining a community of players that you can play with online, and it just takes a lot of time and energy. And
That sounds like so much work.
it's exactly why I quit playing, because it takes a lot of work. But when you put the work in and you have people to play with, like, it is so much fucking fun, man. Like, I don't think I've ever had a gaming experience quite like a raid in Destiny. Like, a Destiny raid is, I think, like the ultimate gaming experience. It's so much fucking fun.
It's
Like,
a RPG.
it's an RPG, dude. It's a first-person shooter.
Yeah. Oh.
MMO.
Right. Yeah, man.
I
Oh,
feel
you
like
know
since
what?
it has lore, it's really interesting. Like Skyrim
got-
had lore. I loved Skyrim.
Yeah. I
Oh,
would
you
say
played
that-
Skyrim?
Yeah, I played Skyrim.
I've never even played that. That's crazy.
Skyrim was great.
Yeah, Skyrim was awesome.
I'm really in love with these ideas. Like, I really want to play an RPG MMO, but like, I think that I feel a little bit disconnected from it being on my computer. Like, I almost wish that like VR was even more immersive to where I could literally just like be in the game. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah,
Like-
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if there's some way, and I imagine this happening in the future at some point. You know,
You
there's
just want some like extends experience.
right,
Yeah.
like you spend like a month in a game. You get fed intravenously or whatever, and you shit in a bucket, and you play straight for a month in this like super immersive experience, and you know your fat kind of
And you
melts
just come out
off
and you
of
have
you.
a staph infection between your butt cheeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
I'm okay with this.
I 100% think they're gonna have that though at some point. I mean,
Yeah.
have you guys played any of like the VR they have out nowadays?
So I recently got a VR set, and like I'm not recently, but like all the way back in October. SAO situation. That's what I'm talking about. Sword Art Online. That's the situation I'm looking for, dude. If you haven't seen Sword Art Online, it's a great anime. It's pretty fucking cool. But basically, the synopsis of it is that these kids get stuck in this game for like a year, and the game creator has decided that if you die in the game, you die for real, and all this stuff. Like, you can't remove it. Puts all the kids into kind of this coma state where they have to play the game, and they're trapped there until somebody beats it.
It sounds like Caprica.
Caprica, what is this?
It's like the prequel to Battlestar Galactica. It was good. I like that.
Oh, huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. I get suspicious. God damn it! I get really sus about TV series and how, you know, the cheesy acting and all that stuff. I get a little bit worried and sus because I can't pronounce the word properly. Anyways, on that note, we went a little bit over, but thank you everybody for joining. Thank you everybody for like coming on Twitch. I'm pretty confident we did well today, and I just really appreciate all the comments and participation in chat. Thank you, Fluff, for joining us today. Hopefully you come next week, and as usual, thank you
Yeah,
very
it was a
much, Mr.
pleasure.
Lux. Good. I hope you had a good time. All right, I'm gonna end it. Peace out, everybody.
All right.